Using the energies of the moon each month is a great way to connect with the natural world. Much like tarot, it also helps us to connect with our subconscious. We can use both in conjunction to gain insight and clarity with our emotions, fears, shadow aspects, and more. We can track the moon's movement in the sky and sync the phases within our daily lives. We can see a lot of correlation. We are all affected by lunar energy since we're mostly composed of water and the moon controls the tides. This gravitational pull also affects the atmosphere and deep within the Earth's crust. It's no wonder we blame the moon for many crazy happenings. Welcome to Hands on Tarot, where I show you the many ways you can use tarot for more than just divination and help you grow your tarot practice. I'm Susie Gourlay, and I've been using the tarot for many years to create my future rather than just predict it. Today we're exploring using lunar energy with tarot. So the deck that I'm going to be using today is the Northern Animal Tarot by Wilder Heart Studio. So this deck is made in Canada, where I'm from as well. So I quite like it. So I was thinking of this topic since I myself am a Cancer Sun, Cancer Moon. The moon does play quite a role in my life. So I was thinking about how I can add it to my tarot practice. And I've never actually sat down and used an entire lunar cycle to see how it affects my tarot readings or how I can combine lunar energies to help, in my tarot practice or using tarot in different ways, like in spells and such. So I wanted to discuss a bit of that with you today. So the moon as a luminary, it is in the zodiac of Cancer. The moon as a luminary is in Cancer. The moon tarot card is in the zodiac Pisces. It rules Jupiter, where you can find your luck, growth, and wisdom, and also Neptune, which is related to your imagination and mystical side and how you heal. For a yes or no question, if you pulled the moon, the answer to that would be no. The astrology of the moon card, so its strengths are it's artistic, intuitive, compassionate, wise, and loving. Its weaknesses are it's very suspicious, martyrdom, overly emotional, critical, deceptive. The timing for the moon card using Golden Dawn would be February 19th to March 20th. The element is water, and the moon symbolism in tarot represents intuition, cycles, emotions, the divine feminine, the subconscious, shadow work, death, reflection, hidden information, fears, and so on. So we have talked previously about using affirmations in relating to tarot. So the affirmation for the moon card would be, it's not that I'm changing, it's that I'm finally revealing. Emotion and intuition converge to guide me. So I pulled out some cards from the deck where we can see aspects of the moon. So for example, we have the High Priestess here. We see the triple moon on her head here. We see it waxing, full, and waning. This card does speak about intuition. It speaks about trusting your gut and kind of that inner knowledge and that inner knowing. The Chariot has aspects of the moon because it is representing the zodiac of Cancer. Also making choices. The moon card, of course, has aspects of the moon. Quite often there is a dog and a wolf, which represent our wild side and our tame side. Quite often with the full moon, we speak about people kind of going crazy or, werewolves coming out. The moon affecting our emotions. Also, this moon card represents hidden emotions coming to the surface, things that we'd like to keep hidden. quite often when the moon card comes up, there's things that we just kind of need to take a little bit of a break on and wait till the daylight comes so we can see things in a much, much clearer, and nothing is really hidden once the sun comes out, where the moon kind of creates those shadows. The Three of Cups is represented by the zodiac of Pisces. Quite often within this card too, we see that triple goddess with the maiden mother crone, very similar with the triple moon within the High Priestess card as well. The Seven of Cups by representing illusions, perhaps not seeing the whole picture, not being too hasty, maybe giving it a bit of a wait to see, what these actually turn into. Things might be too good to be true. So kind of waiting for that light to come and waiting for that darkness to disperse. The Eight of Cups, we see that eclipsed moon up in the sky there. This is also, because it's a cup, it's associated with water, which is associated with intuition. This eclipse moon too also represents kind of fear of the unknown, but wanting to strive on and strive forward, and kind of not letting that fear take over. The Two of Swords, we often see a moon within this card as well. It represents self-doubt, the unknown, kind of creating a stalemate within this card here. Not wanting to make a choice, perhaps because there is some hidden emotions that you don't want to come to the surface, but also waiting for that clarity as well. The Nine of Swords is representing hiding in the dark. Shadows kind of make things shadows make things a lot more worse than they look like it. It's playing on our fears. It could represent the negative self-talk. So the Nine of Swords definitely represents the negative aspects of the moon. The Queen of Cups, because she's that mystic, we also see that triple moon on this card specifically, representing her being very intuitive, also just surrounded by that watery element as well. Very transformative power as well, which we do see within the moon. Another card I pulled out here is the Five of Pentacles. With this one, it's kind of feeling lost and afraid, so dealing with those fears, perhaps past beliefs keeping you from moving forward. Allow your intuition to guide you through the darkness. So I thought this one might be a good one too. There's definitely others as well that you could pull out of your deck, but those ones I just wanted to bring up just to kind of maybe perhaps make you think of seeing the moon in different cards rather than just looking to see if there is a literal moon in the card. So when talking about the moon's phases, which I have, this is from the Pagan Otherworlds deck. So we have some moon phases here. So for example, the new moon. So the new moon holds as much energy as the full moon. It represents new beginnings, fresh starts, new projects, setting goals, intentions, letting go of what doesn't serve you, and cleansing your space. So these are things that you can use when looking to use tarot with a lunar phase. The waxing moon. So organization, planning, how to achieve your goals, how you're going to get there. So putting those things in motion, putting those new goals or those new intentions you set with the new moon in action. We also have the first quarter. I hope I'm doing these in the right order here. Guess it doesn't matter. First quarter here. Taking action, start working, and focus on growing. With the waxing gibbous moon, I do have one of those. As the moon grows, it pulls. So do work that attracts. And this is also a good time to do 7-day spells or 7-day workings. It represents hard work and which projects really deserve your energy. So really focusing on doing what will bring you towards your goals rather than things that might get in the way. The full moon is energy. It's at its peak. It's associated with the triple goddess over a 3-day period, celebrating what has become and what you've manifested or created. The waning gibbous, the moon's visibility is shrinking, so you can use this time to push away or shrink the things or the energies that you don't want. Introspection, a time for gratitude and sharing. The last quarter, flip that one over. Working with this phase is all about readjustment, cleansing, releasing, and forgiving. And finally, the waning crescent is about rest and restoring your energy and healing. So these are many different ways throughout an entire month or a full moon cycle, which is about 28 days. All the stuff that you can do to incorporate within your tarot practice to really help you, build on those intentions and just add a bit of extra oomph to it. There's also special moons that happen. So blue moon, for example, this is the second full moon in a calendar month. This is a good time for self-care, beauty rituals, grounding yourself outside in nature. It also doubles up on the energy of the zodiac that the moon is in. And it's a good card to represent, a good card to represent this energy is the Empress. There are supermoons, so when the moon's orbit is closest to Earth at the same time it is full. So everything is more magnified, and it's a really great card to represent this energy is the Knight of Wands, and that's kind of like, okay, it's go time. We're on an adventure. We're going to go and see what happens. And there's also blood moons, and this is when the moon is in a total eclipse. So you can use this time for reflection, contemplation, and a really good card to represent the energy of the blood moon is the Hermit. So I had mentioned talking about using lunar energy with tarot spells. And an example of one I wanted to share with you is from thetravelingwitch.com. So to do this, you think about the thing you're working on manifesting, and then you go through your deck and select a card that matches the energy of your intention. So you can go by their traditional card meanings, or you can go by your intuition, which kind of suits working with the moon. So for example, if you were looking for romantic or love intentions, you might look for the Lovers, the Ace of Cups, perhaps the Two of Cups, that card of partnership and unity. Must be further on. If you're looking for friendship or familiar relationship intentions, there's the Three of Cups, the Three of Pentacles, the Ten of Pentacles. There's that Two of Cups. So you could use these cards. There's the Two of Pentacles there. I guess we didn't talk about that. The Three of Pentacles is the one. That one was at the beginning. I saw that one. That's Three of Cups too. So Three of Cups, Three of Pentacles, or Ten of Pentacles. So you can use those cards to help, with that intention in a moonlight charged tarot spell. Financial abundance intentions, the Empress, the King of Pentacles, the Nine of Pentacles. These are really great cards to focus on for manifesting financial abundance. Clearing unwanted energy intentions. So you could use the High Priestess, you could use the card of Death, or you could use the Sun as well. These would be really great cards to work on on those intentions. And really any manifesting, here's the sun here, any manifesting intention that you want to do. Of course, the Magician is a really great card for this as well, because he is the manifester, that creator. So for example, if I wanted to create some financial abundance, I might pull out the Empress, the King of Pentacles, and the Nine of Pentacles. I might as well use them all, you know, to help me with that. There's the Empress there. Empress. Ten of Pentacles. And I think I saw the King of Pentacles a little bit earlier here. There he is. Okay. So I might pull out those three cards. And then I would look for the moon phase that will really help me kind of grow this financial intention. So I could choose, you know, even perhaps first quarter or anything in the waxing phase, because I'm growing that intention. And then I can really focus on it, or perhaps do a spell specifically on the full moon where energy is at its peak. You know, I have 3 days to really kind of manifest and create that. So that gives me quite a lot of time to focus on this intention and to use these cards specifically for financial abundance. So what you might do, the Traveling Witch suggests, is check what phase the moon is in currently. Think about how that particular energy of the moon can help you with the next step of your manifestation spell. So for example, if you're working on calling in financial abundance, like we'd mentioned, the new moon can open up your mind to all the ways money can flow to you. If it's the waxing moon, which I think would be a really great start, you can take action on some of your money-making ideas. And for the full moon, you can celebrate the money you have, no matter how much or how little. The waning moon can show you areas you can cut back, or perhaps do some spending. So there's using all four, you know, of the main lunar cycles that can help you with a specific intention. So to activate this, you could place your card in a window, write your intention down on a slip of paper, and place it on top of the card. So especially if I'm thinking of financial abundance, I might use this 10 of Pentacles here for sure, because there's 10 of that. So, you know, drawing that energy in. So you put your card on the window, you write your intention down on a slip of paper and place it on top of the card. So that way your intention is basically sandwiched between the energy of the tarot card and the moon above that will shine down on it. Use the same card for the entire lunar cycle, then select a new card on the night of the next new moon for either the same intention or a different intention. So that's one way you can use tarot with lunar energy. There's also some journal prompts that you can use with this as well. So for example, the darkest thing I think about other people is... The darkest thing I think about myself is... Something I would do if I knew I wouldn't get caught. What masks do I wear with other people? Can you remember a time when the bigger picture was obscured and you were unable to see things as they truly were? How comfortable are you in dealing with your past and with deeper feelings? And can you think of someone like the moon who is able to pull the wool over people's eyes, whether positively or negatively? So what you can do is answer these questions as you see fit, or you can even pull cards to answer these questions. Pulling cards can also help you discover what space will open up inside of you once you allow these ideas to move through you and disappear. So that's kind of a form of shadow work with the tarot and the moon cycle. So if you're looking for guidance on specific subjects corresponding to moon energy, the new moon is a good time for looking for insight into new love, a new job, decision making, if you're asking about the outcomes of different choices, picking monthly or yearly goals, and assessing your current situation or energy. The waxing moon, you can pull cards for guidance on what actions to take to manifest something, how to move forward on a goal or relationship, financial abundance questions, or questions about your future. And on the full moon, you can ask your cards for guidance on general love questions, questions about past, present, future, questions for your spirit guides or higher power perhaps, or anything about reaching your goals. And finally, with the waning moon, you can ask for insight on solving relationship conflicts or conflicts in general, questions for spirit guides or higher powers again, how to use your energy or how to best use your energy, and questions about your past. So one thing that you could do as a full moon, or sorry, as a new moon kind of ritual, is you can draw 4 cards and ask, how will the phases of this new lunar cycle affect my mood? So I'm just going to do that. We are in a waxing gibbous moon currently, but that's okay. So what I'm going to do here is pull each 4 cards, which will represent each of the 4 phases. So that would be new, waxing, full, and waning. So I got lots of major arcana cards here, so this looks like a really powerful time for me. The new moon is, for me, looking at learning, growing skills, perhaps looking for, even possibly teaching others something that will help them on their path. But looking for new ways where I can grow, perhaps a skill, a tradition, connecting with someone who can teach me something new. For the waxing moon here, this could represent looking at, really focusing on those decisions, weighing which ones will really help me going forward, and not focusing on the ones that are really going to hinder me or aren't really helping me with my choice going forward. So really focusing on what will add to my learning and not so much what will hinder it, but really focusing on the positive side of that. Going into the full moon here, with the world card coming up, I could look at that as, really seeing or really coming out of my shell. It could possibly represent an epiphany happening with this full moon that's coming up, that will really bring me success, and where I will really find perhaps my niche. So learning something new here will help lead me to a decision that will bring success for me, or focusing on manifesting what my main end goal is. And with the waning moon, focusing on that I do have the strength for this. So this is quite a jump, going from making a decision with the 2 of Pentacles to reaching the world here. That is a very huge jump. So knowing in the waning moon that I do have the strength to complete these goals if I really want it, showing that this would be really good for me, knowing that I have to put in the hard work, knowing that, there will be that transformation for me and I do have that strength, and also knowing that I deserve it as well. And to, really think about what it'll mean to me. So a lot of this is more on, that reconciling those feelings and how, is this going to affect me? So really more of that, focusing on, I can't think of the word, focusing on I know that I had that word written down here. I'm sorry. Focusing on that transformation, focusing on what will, I'll just stop talking until I find this word. whatever. So learning something new, making that decision to go forward, whether I want to pursue it or not, knowing how much that'll really change for me, and then reconciling what I know based on what has happened through this lunar cycle and really focusing on what it'll bring for me. So kind of reflecting, that's the word. That's the word I was really thinking of, reflecting on all of this stuff. So that might be one way that you can use lunar energy within tarot, even for just a month, is pulling that 4-card spread for the beginning of the month and really coming back when you get through that moon phase and seeing how these cards kind of manifested for you throughout that month. So it might, help you plan time for rest, celebration, action, depending on your projected moods. It, you can look at your plans over that time and see, if anything's coming up that might represent or be associated with the cards that you're pulling. So I do have some spreads that I've created and used myself, representing in different moon cycles. So I'll share those with you, and I'm just going to do one right now as well. So as I had mentioned, currently I'm in a waxing moon phase, so I'm going to do the waxing moon spread. So it's just a 4-card spread as well. So card number 1, what main intention should I focus on at this time? Card number 2, how can I grow in my practice? Card number 3, what aspect of my being needs healing? Oh, the healer came up, that's interesting. And card number 4, where should I look to for assistance with card number 3? Oh, interesting. Okay, so the 4 cards that I got here. So card number 1, what main intention should I focus on at this time? I got the Star. So it's interesting for that because I'm in that waxing phase right now, making that intention, setting out that wish, making that goal, scheming, what's a big idea I could come up with, looking to the Star for guidance. So it's interesting that that comes up as, what my main intention should be to focus on at this time. It is the perfect card for that. How can I grow in my practice? And I have the 7 of Swords here. So with that card for me, it could mean perhaps not taking on too much of a load with mental clarity. For myself right now, to give you kind of a bit of a backup, I am learning a new skill with mediumship and working with a local medium to grow that skill, and I'm having a lot of trouble with it right now. So with these swords, for me, what this might mean is I'm taking on too much right now. I'm trying too hard to focus, and sometimes I'm creating that anxiety within myself that it's not working. Also, I'm probably, trying to make it go much faster than it really should. Obviously, something that takes skill does take a lot of practice and does take time. And I've also been doing a lot of meditations this past month to kind of grow in that skill as well. So to me, that's what this card means. How can I grow in my practice? Try not to force it. Pay more attention to just kind of getting out of my head and focusing on entering different states of consciousness, to continue with that meditation and not put so much pressure on myself, to try to find a bit more clarity of mind. What aspect of my being needs healing? And I got the Queen of Pentacles. And if you've listened to the Court card podcast, the Queen of Pentacles for me is the healer. So that's a perfect card to come up for that. So I really need to focus on nurturing myself, giving myself grace, possibly because I'm not doing so good with the opening up my third eye there and connecting with my higher self or my team. Grounding myself a little bit more, trying to really focus on my needs rather than trying to help others with their needs during this time. So that's what the Queen of Pentacles would represent for me in this phase. And finally, where should I look for assistance in help with that being that needs healing, for helping myself with that task? And I got the Hermit. So, you know, looking for that inner solitude, you know, looking within myself, knowing that I have all the answers I seek. Again, very much with that Seven of Swords, you know, trying to not force things, trying not to, you know, put so much pressure on myself, but, you know, go within, find the solitude I'm looking for, find that grounding, you know, perhaps with the meditation to find, instead of forcing that out, it could just be, you know, breath work. It could just be, you know, focusing on a candle flame flickering, that sort of thing. So, you know, and knowing that I'll get it, I just have to work slowly at it, and things that to have skill do take time, and knowing that as well. So looking at this spread and these cards that came up for me for this reading, I'm really happy with those cards, and, you know, working with those during this waxing phase here, working towards the full moon. So I will share the other 4 spreads with you as well. I also have a blue moon spread that I will share with you. And another one for Maiden Mother Crone, where I use emotional stacks similar to the Tarot at a Crossroads book that we've talked about a few times within this podcast as well. You can also specifically pull out the moon card. And there it is. I'm going to insert these cards back here. Pull out the moon cards, kind of a signifier. And then we'll pull 4 cards that go around it. So card number 1, the card that represents you, be the Ace of Swords. Card number 2, above the moon, what needs to be addressed. Got the Hermit. I didn't shuffle these. Card number 3, what needs to be addressed in the present, so challenges or fears. 10 of Wands there. And card number 4, the outcome. And I got the Fool. So with this spread, which I'll share as well, it's about reading with the moon to see what lies beneath. So we have these 4 cards surrounded by the moon. We could ask questions like what needs to come to the surface, or what will be the outcome of this crisis or soul searching. And you can use the moon kind of as that signifier card right in the middle of your spread as well. So that's another method you could do. So I hope that you might think of, you know, new ideas where you can use your tarot practice within a lunar cycle, and definitely jotting down what cards come up for you. Do they have different meaning depending on the moon cycle? You know, how you might incorporate lunar energy into your practice, or even how the moon comes up for you in readings. How do those aspects of the moon come up for you? And what does the moon card represent for you? Of course, there's lots of decks out there as well that can help you do this. This is one that I have here. It's called The Moon Oracle by Carolyn Smith and John Astrop. So I've had this deck for a really long time, and I've never actually looked into it too much, but it connects different goddesses who are associated with the moon, different aspects of the moon. So we have crescent, full, gibbous, balsamic moon, black moon, and then there's the oracle cards represented as well. This deck is actually quite deep. I've never used it. I have pulled it out because I do want to really learn a lot more about incorporating the moon into my practice, because the moon does have does play such a large role within my life. A couple other cards or other books that you can use. So for example, the Tarot Disassembled. This is a deck that I have, and it really talks about different energy or different symbolism within the cards. So the moon will be after the star here. So some examples that you used to seeing within the moon card, you know, the dog, the moon, the pathway, the towers, water, the wolf. So the dog represents protection, communication, domestication, unconditional love. The crayfish, which we quite often see, is the primal nature, the ego, the psyche, the emergence, shedding the past. The path we see within the moon card: journey, life path, connectedness, boundaries, guidance. The towers represent ego, arrogance, material constructs, possibility, self-imposed limitations, defensiveness, initiation. The wolf, as I'd mentioned, kind of that primal, wild nature of ourselves compared to the dog, which is a lot more domesticated. And water, emotions, life, abundance, movement, ebb and flow, purification, power, depth, intuition, subconscious. And Yod there, the divinity, spark of creation, building blocks, beginning and change. So there is so much within the moon, that we could really pull out and really kind of make a study on within tarot. A couple other books that I wanted to share with you that do have aspects of using lunar energy within tarot. The Magic of Tarot by Sasha Graham. Magical Tarot by Robin Valentine. Of course, the Holistic Tarot has, because it is this big, has a lot of information in it, and of course it does touch on lunar energy as well. A book that isn't necessarily a tarot book, but using lunar magic within your life, is The Moon Book by Sarah Faith Godsteiner. And also The Ultimate Guide to Tarot by Liz Dean. She does have some spreads in here that you can use. That one with the moon card and the 4 around it is from this book as well. So here's that moon there, and reading with the moon as well. So there's a lot of information in all of these books, and quite a lot actually if you look online using lunar energy within your tarot practice. So if that's something you're interested in, it can definitely add some depth to your readings as well. So if you're interested, my podcast is related to a tarot circle that I facilitate, which is free online, called the Sagewind Tarot Circle. You can find out information on my website at susiegorley.com. But I invite anyone who would like to join in our discussion. Our next tarot circle will be on Sunday, April 30th at 11 o'clock Saskatchewan time, which right now is Mountain Time. You can find the link on my on my website as well. Anyone is welcome to join. It's free. We do it online. It's an hour and a half. And our next topic, we are going to be talking about different methods of reading tarot with different things, like, for example, using a regular deck of playing cards, or using different dice to have readings and how they relate to the tarot. Different things like that. So if you'd like to join us, Saturday, April 30th, 2023, at 11 o'clock Mountain Time, and I'll post the link there in the show notes. So thanks for joining me. I hope you found this episode insightful. If you have any questions or comments, you can email me at handsontarot@gmail.com. You can visit my website at susiegorlight.com.